Hey, welcome to the tech capital of the world. My name is Bobby Davis here in the beautiful Kernersville, North Carolina, CEO and founder of Foundry. And today, Kevin, we're talking about how not to get scammed during that job hunt, which sounds like never-ending things for criminals to make fun of us and get people in need. It just makes me mad when this happens, you know?
Exactly. We've been sort of like coaching people on this recently, so
Yeah,
we've seen some of these things. So we thought
right.
we'd talk about it today. We looked into it and
And so,
like,
like
wow,
you
this
know,
is
if
pretty.
you're coming through Foundry, the in-person boot camp, one of the things that we do is companies reach out to us and we try to help them facilitate an interview. And sometimes, you know, someone just got hired from companies reaching out to us. So if you want to hire .NET grads, just call Foundry and we'll hook you up with the grads. So we try to vet the companies. We make sure that the company's legitimate. They're actually going to pay people. There has companies that have called me and I'm just like, no, I'm not going to let you talk to the students, because they're
Right.
not real. It's just kind of
Right.
like, you know,
Yeah. It doesn't.
so I won't
Something's
tell you some
off.
of the stuff I've went through, but like, you know, if you do the interview from the front porch of your house, I mean, like, we're probably not going to talk to you, but like, so like those kind of things is just kind of weird to me, but we can, for me, because I've been doing this for a while, I can spot it a mile away. But
Right.
when you're out there looking for a job, it's just like, it's really hard because like you need a job. So like you go do it. And so some of these scams are, I think once you start seeing them, they're not hard to spot, but they
Right.
sometimes do a pretty good job. So like, you know,
Right. They
that's
can be
we'll
convincing
talk
in the right
about
situation,
like
especially when
stuff to look
you're.
for.
Yeah, especially when because you're in a vulnerable position, right? That's the
Yeah.
thing. You're
Right.
you're maybe desperate to get a job, so you'll look past some things that
Yeah. The
may
red
have
flag.
been red flags that you're
Right.
just like, okay, that's fine. Again, you're willing to look past them. You shouldn't be
Yeah.
willing to look past them.
So all of these scams, you got to realize, like, you got to understand the motivator of the scammer. Okay.
Right.
Which is to get money from you. So like, you know,
That's it.
like
It's all about the money,
that's
right?
it. So once you figure out like, okay, they're asking me to give them something, then you realize like these are scams. So all of these that we're going to talk about fall into that realm. And we're going to give you the different scenarios that you can come across in.
Yeah.
But the whole thing that runs through it is, hey, for some reason, I got to give you money for this job. It's just, and that's not the
Yeah.
way it works.
In
So,
some way. Yeah. Yeah.
but we'll give
Definitely.
you some definite things that you can help you spot them.
Definitely. Before we get to that, a couple things.
Yeah.
We are still we do still have applications open for January cohort. We won't close those down until towards the end of the year, but they are still open. If you're interested in that, you can
Yeah,
go
or until it
to
fills up. We may close them out.
foundry.com.
We will close it out before Christmas just because it's going to fill up.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be before then.
We're interviewing people right now. So like if you want to learn .NET 6 and you want to come to the in-person boot camp and learn from instructing, and that's the path you want to get onto, we'd like to be your teacher, coach, and mentor. So just apply. We only accept 25 for this. So you do have to apply. Not everyone gets in. There's some steps involved for you to do stuff, just to let you know. But we've had some people that don't want to go through our steps. They're just said, I'm just trying to buy the course.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, like
yeah.
go to the self-paced course, you
So,
can buy that. But like for the in-person boot camp, there is some acceptance criteria, which I think, Kevin, we do a good job on that. We're not like a lot of other boot camps
yeah.
where
Oh yeah.
we're
I think
trying
so.
to get as many people sign up for an ISA as we possibly can. I'm trying to
Right.
find
It's
25
pointless.
people that want to go through life change and 25 people that want to learn .NET and that want a job at the end of this. And it's not just, hey, I want to take the cooking class and learn something a little
Yeah.
bit about something.
Yep.
You know, so there's a time commitment on our side and a time commitment on your side. So if we figure those things out, we try not to sell sunshines and rainbows to everybody, which we could. We could say, yeah, you're going to do it. And,
Yeah.
you know,
But that would suck. Like that.
and
That's
prey
just
on the
not being a
vulnerable,
good
you know?
person. Exactly.
So
Not
that's,
being a good
yeah, it's
person.
not. And so like, that's where I think some boot camps kind of fall where they let their interest is too low, where we try to set the bar high. So if you're out there and you're one of our competitors and you're setting the bar high, we're not talking to those kind of boot camps. There's just some that are just kind of like, anyone can learn to code and anyone can get a job, and I can make it happen. You just come on Tuesday nights and you'll have a job in
Yeah.
3
Right.
weeks, you know?
Right. Right.
So like, it's like,
Yeah.
that's not us. I mean, we're a little bit different. And but like, if you want to learn .NET 6, man, I think that this is the opportunity. We'd probably be the only people in the country teaching it in January. So
Yep.
maybe someone else will, but we're one of the few .NET boot camps anyway.
Yep. It is also Veterans Day today, by the way, too.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, thank you to everyone that served. Thank you for being a veteran.
Some people in my family were veterans, so that's really good.
Yeah, definitely. So, I have a bunch of friends who are veterans currently serving and have served in the past. So
yeah.
I put a little note to them on Facebook today, just saying thank you. So yeah, see a veteran today. Thank a veteran.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. Oh, look, here's a good segue. Was reventure a scam?
So we were going to talk about that. So we don't put reventure in the scam category. I think that's a good question. So like,
scam's kind of harsh for what reventure does. Now you might see it as a scam, but
in general, and they're going to be competitive. They're going to have some competitive pressure on this because other companies are doing this. They're just not putting the golden handcuff what I put on you. So in general, if you go to reventure, they pay you to go through their internal boot camp. And then there's a certain cost to you for doing that. However, you don't pay that. It's just that you have to sign up for a contract to work for them for a certain period of time. And if you don't do that, then you pay that back. Now, I don't know every ins and outs about reventure. So if you're part of reventure, I'd love for you to come on and we'll talk about like what you do. But in general, I think that's how it works. Now, if you get fired, I don't know how that works. But if you quit, then I think that they can hold you accountable for that.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Yeah, they're trying to make you pay back the training. Yeah. So, is it a scam? No. Is it scammy? Maybe if you look at it one way. But I think people who say like, "Oh, my reventure is a scam," is because they don't understand what they're getting into. If you don't understand the piece of paper that you're signing, anything can feel like a scam, right? A car loan can feel like a scam. Be like, man, they're coming after me for my payment every month. Yeah, you signed up for it.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I think that, and then I think it's a 3-year agreement that you work there for a 3-year agreement. And so you're going to get paid while you're doing that in 3 years. So if you're not getting paid, that's illegal in the US. So, but like you don't work for free. You do get paid, you get a salary. But I would imagine that salary isn't like necessarily market competitive, what you could get after 2 years doing that. And you could get more on the open market. And so what you do is you kind of figure out that, see, that's what I'm talking about, Malcolm. You get a job and you get experience. And so if it's the only way that
right
you can
person
get through it,
it's right.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is that you may say, well, I can make more on the open market, but if I leave now, I got to pay $12,000 and like, they've got me tied into this contract. And so I think that, I think it's okay. I mean, like if you're having problems breaking in and reventure will give you a shot and they'll train you and you can get a job.
Yeah. If it's nothing or reventure, I'd probably go with reventure.
I agree. Versus being unemployed.
You just have to understand what the model is and understand how it's going to work. And if you understand that, yes, I'm going to take their training and yes, I have to work for them for a set amount of time. I understand that if I quit, I have to pay that money back. That's just the terms of the contract that you're making with them. It's not. That's not a scam. That's just. It might not be a favorable contract in the way that you see it, but it is what it is.
It's usually when I read people saying reventure is a scam, it's the ones that are at the end of their contract. Now they've got the training, they've got the experience, and now they're getting offers, and they can't take those offers because they can make more money. And they're like, oh, this is a scam. You're holding me hostage here. I'm like, well, pay off the boot camp that you went through and go get the higher price job. They'll let you do that too. You know.
And again, you understood the contract coming in, or you should have done. You at least signed it. So you had that knowledge coming in. You knew that was going to be the case. So that's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a scam in the illegal side of this thing.
So here's what is scammy, in my opinion. That if you go somewhere and they want you to buy their training course, and we sell training courses, okay? But we never guarantee anyone a job. All right. We provide training, and then we give you a job. It's just trying to help you find a role. But if there's people out there that say, hey, give me this X, and then I'm going to give you employment tomorrow, you're probably never going to get the job. They don't really offer anything whatsoever. And you'll get like a free code camp course at minimum, like
Right.
so
Right.
they'll just send you something that's not theirs, and then they're just out there to scam you out of me. I think those are scammy situations. And the way Coder Foundry is different is we try to give you real world training, real world projects. What you're buying from us is the finished and complete portfolio and access to instructors for 12 weeks, access to how to find a job. And then also when people come into us and call into us, say, hey, I'd like to hire someone, we turn around and give those opportunities to you. So I think that's kind of what we do. And that's why we feel like we try to avoid what I call the sunshines and rainbows pitch, like you can do this. And then people are upset at me when I don't allow them to come into boot camp. They don't understand.
Oh, we get that all the time. Yeah. It's one of those things. Like we have people who kind of buck the process too, around that as well. Like we talked about this earlier with the application process. It's like people are like, oh, I have to take a quiz. I'm out. Like, okay, thank you for self-assessing. Because that's
exactly.
That's literally, you do not have the grit to do this. If you are unwilling to take a quiz to get into a school, you are literally never going to succeed in this.
Yeah. And then we also have some JavaScript exercises you got to complete, and people don't want to complete them or do them, or they just feel like we should just let everyone in. And what they don't understand is this is good for them and us. Like we don't want to be considered like predatory, like where we're just like preying on the vulnerable. So we try to put up barriers in order to find the right type of student. Second, we don't want you wasting your time when we know, like if we knowingly know that you can't pass our course, then we're wasting your time.
We
don't want
to waste your time or your money. We don't want to take. We don't want to take your money. It's like we don't. If we don't think you can succeed, it's not the right thing to do. It's just not.
Yeah. And so, like that's why we also created the self-paced course. In general, we created the self-paced course for a couple of reasons. Number one was we wanted to give something to the students graduating so they could be a lifelong learner. So let's say you go to our boot camp and you don't do as well as you want, and then the job opportunities because you didn't do well, like you didn't attend everything or you didn't build everything or whatever it was, and then your job prospects aren't quite ready because your portfolio isn't built. The self-paced course, like here, take this thing, you get it for free for life, and then you go out and try to improve your skills. And we've seen dudes and ladies that have like not passed the original boot camp, but like 6 months later, I'll look them up on LinkedIn and suddenly they're working as a dev. And that's cool to me. And I think it's because of things like the self-paced course and things like that we're trying to help the student out.
Yeah.
And we're the only boot camp out there that's doing that. Like, everyone else, you got to like pay for life or do something. They don't even have what we have really. So like, I think that's where we're trying to not be scammy. So reventure, long story short, reventure is not a scam. They employ you. So that's kind of cool. Hey, thanks for the super chat. Take my money. Thanks, Kev.
Thanks, Kev. I appreciate it.
Yeah. That's thank you, man. Taco Thursday.
This is kind of funny too. You'll see this pop up in a second. So yeah, at least I'm not question multiple choice on HTML quiz. Yeah,
exactly.
Our quiz is actually not a coding quiz either. It's not about coding at all. It's more of a logic quiz. It's more of a thinking quiz. Just to make sure that you can
say something. I'm going to speak out of turn here. I think Ridge Raider is attending in January. I think he is. So like,
oh, cool.
I think I'm trying to connect the name with the person. So, but I think he's coming in January. I'm pretty sure. That he is. He doesn't have to give his name out on YouTube in the comments, but like I'm pretty sure that so he's taking our quiz. He knows what he's talking about. It's really an interesting quiz that we've built out that we think determines if you can be a coder in a fast-paced environment like a boot camp.
Right.
So like our boot camp is like 12 weeks of 40 to 50 hours a week, but that's considered fast-paced compared to, I'm going to take a 2-year degree and I'm going to do 6 or 7 programming classes over 2 years. A lot slower than community college, a lot slower than like a 4-year CS degree, But we also have CS degree people coming into our program because I was talking to one the other day. He's like, man, I'm coming in. I'm like, why are you coming here? You got a CS degree. And he goes, well, I built Connect 4. That was my biggest project. And I just can't find a job. And so like what I want to do is help people like that are super, super smart.
Yep.
Take that CS degree and let's put some actual things behind it that you can show, and that way you can get a job. So that's kind of where we fit in. So reventure, not a scam. Let's talk about some other things that they can look for.
It's funny because
And
reventure was literally the first thing on our list because we're like, let's
yeah,
do away with this one first because
yeah,
we don't think it doesn't fall into the same category. Even if you think it is a scam, it's not a scam. They're
it's
not
not a
literally just trying
scam.
to take your money and give
Yeah,
you nothing, which is what these other things we're going to talk about. They're literally
yeah.
trying to take your money and give you nothing.
So the reason I talk about the scams is because I'm not too mad horn. I'm a sort of an expert in the fraud space. You could probably
Yeah,
objectively say that, right? So
you've
like,
got you got
we
some
built a
history in
fraud
this space.
company. I've since left that thing and sold it, but but like in general, like how this works is really tied to the first part of it is check scams, which I definitely know more about that than most people
Yep.
walking around today around the world. But like check scams in general are they want you to cash a check and then you keep a percentage of that money for yourself and then you ship the cash back to the company, and that's like the
Right.
check cashing scam.
Right.
What you need to understand is like that check isn't going to clear on the other end. It's either an unknown account, a false account, a closed account. In other words, the check item itself is fraudulent.
Yep.
And so what happens when that check doesn't clear? They come back to your bank and
Right.
they get it from you.
They get the money back.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they do. So like, let's say that check's $1,000, and they're like, "Man, keep 250 for yourself. Just send me 750." Sounds like a great deal, doesn't it, Kevin?
Where do I sign up?
So you get the cash, you pull $1,000 out of your bank account, and you keep 250, go buy some stuff, and then you hit 750 out to this guy, and then they come back for the full 1,000.
Like 3 days later, they're like, "Yeah, that's not a valid check."
Yep.
And
There's no way to validate checks. So in general, rule number one is never cash a check, what we call a third-party check, ever. And especially if it's tied to a job. But in general, if someone approaches you on the street, "Hey man, can you cash this check for me at your bank?" Don't ever, 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 ever do that.
Yeah,
I'll let you keep half of it.
We've seen actual versions of this kind of in this space too, where they will take you down the road and promise you the earth. And all of a sudden, at the end, you need to pay some kind of. They'll send you some money for equipment or something, or it'll something along those. Yeah, it's be like, yeah, we can't send you the laptop, but we'll send you the money for the laptop, and here's the check, and you'll then go cash it and be like, oh, and then you'll make a mistake somehow, and there's a whole bunch of things you can, but it seems legitimate. Everything else seems legitimate. You've got they signed you on for a 6-figure salary job and all this stuff, and it's like, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I just need you to cash this check though. And at that point, you feel so sort of in it. You're so far, you're so deep down the rabbit hole. It feels like it's okay to do that.
Yeah,
and it's not.
So,
no valid company will ever get you to do that. Ever.
Yeah, it goes back to the whole scenario is like when you look at the employer-employee relationship, the employer pays you. All right. So it's never reversed where you're paying the employee or the employer something for either the right to work there or buy equipment or that kind of stuff. I mean, the employer should send you the laptop, should send you the desk, the chair, the whatever it is, and if they're not, and you have to cash a check to go get them funds to do it, it's sketch. It's sketchy. They're and then now what I would say is sometimes an employer will say, "Go buy that and expense it." Okay.
Right.
That's different. That is different because like then you're relying on the company to pay you back. Now, if the company doesn't pay you back for that, it's a scam. But this is not what we're talking about, because that's in a case where the company doesn't really benefit that you went out to IKEA and outfitted your home office.
Right.
I mean, they may laugh if they're trying to do it, like,
but there's no point in
Kevin. He went out and did it, but he didn't make any money on that. That's more of a punk than a scam. Now, some companies will. They may do that and then you can't get expensed back, but typically I think that's not the case what we're talking about here.
That's probably different. It's always where you're somehow sending them back money.
It
always comes back to that. It always comes back to that. So always look out for that. So you should never have to pay for anything for an opportunity, whether it be this whole check cashing thing, or I don't know, like you got to pay for some kind, I don't know, they say we need some kind of like there's a background check. You need to pay me for a background check. I'm sure that's a common thing too.
It does happen a lot, yeah.
Like no, that's if they have to do that, that's on them. That's not on you.
No.
You don't have to pay for that.
So that's the money scam of it, and there's also too, I'm gonna ship you some merchandise scam. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then what I want you to do is take it out of the box and then reship it back to China, like somewhere
yeah,
overseas.
yeah,
And what they're doing there is they're buying things, sending it to your house, and then having it reshipped to them so it can't be tracked back to
yeah.
them, and
This is
then
bought on
you're
stolen credit
actually,
cards.
yeah, and then you're actually accepting stolen goods at that point, and it can get you into trouble. It's hard to explain, and
Yep.
so you should never reship something either. So, and you're probably thinking, hey, I'm applying to the dev jobs. Like, I'm never going to do that. Why would someone put out, hey, I
This
need
is
a .NET
right.
developer for 5 years experience? So they're not going to do that. They're going to say, I need a .NET developer with 0 years of experience. And they'll put all the stuff that I'm looking for,
Yep.
but willing to train, all this kind of stuff, so that they can get as many what I would call low uh, talented people to apply to that. In other words,
Yeah.
like, you don't have really the skills. You're just trying to break in as a dev, and you're desperate, and you're like, and so what they're trying to do is prey on that particular person, and then they switch it on you real quick. Suddenly, well, the CTO, or to train you, Kevin, what I want you to do is be my assistant. Like, you're going to be my
Yeah. Watch
assistant
for the
now,
bait and switch.
and
Yeah.
we're going to bring you up in the business. They're going to give you this spiel, and then it'll come like a day later. Okay, someone will call you and say, hey, the CTO is going to be in town today, but he needs you to cash this check, and you keep 250 and
Yep.
send it back for expenses or something like
Yep.
that.
And
It'll
all
be
of a
some
sudden,
weird janky thing,
right? But all
and
of a sudden, it
you
doesn't
just have to,
feel as like it's not the reason this works is it's not cold anymore, right? It's not
yeah,
like
exactly,
it's not just some dude off the street asking you to do it. It's
yeah,
somebody who now feel like you have a job with. It was like a real company. You have a rapport with. You spoke to them a bunch of times. This
yeah,
is why you're more likely to fall for it, because it's like now you feel like, oh man, am I gonna lose this job if I don't do this? And the feeling is going
yeah,
to be yes.
yeah.
So that's why people do it, but it's still
And the other
a
thing
no
that
no.
they do, Kevin, that I think is very sneaky is, like, once they get your name, they'll look you up on common things like Facebook or LinkedIn, and
Yep.
suddenly they're talking to you about stuff that about, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. Oh yeah, the
and so,
social
like,
engineering side of this is strong.
yeah,
Like
yeah, strong social engineering. But if you do that, so I think you can avoid the job scams if if I'm sending you money, that's not new. Now the other one we see is recruiters. So let's talk about recruiters real quick.
yeah.
If you're paying a recruiter to get a job, it is a scam, 100%.
Yep. Yeah, they
Okay.
don't have some
If we're
hidden job market that you're paying to
No,
access, or that's a
no.
scam.
Typically, what they're doing is say, I'll let you look at this website, and they're just reposting jobs that they've already found, or closed jobs. They're not real, or they're just trying to fake you into paying them 5 grand, and then I can guarantee you a job in there. So no
Yeah.
recruiter can guarantee you a job. Second, recruiters are paid by the company to do searches, and the job seeker never pays for that service. Now,
Yep.
there are some people out on LinkedIn, especially in the bootcamp space, that are paying for their services to help you find a job. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've never talked to these kind of guys. So you got to be careful about, like, what you're actually paying for.
Yep.
But in general, would you pay to have your resume rewritten or looked at? Yeah, I
Oh,
think I
sure.
think that's a
Yep.
valid thing. Are
Yep.
they good at it? That's what you got to figure out. But, like, in
Yeah.
general, um, here at Coder Foundry, we kind of help people with their resume design too, because we know it's a problem.
Yep.
Sometimes you can write your resume in a certain way that just automatically gets you rejected before you can get an interview. We call that the soft no. So we do that. But there are other guys out there on LinkedIn, and I don't want to put any names out there, that say, I'll help you with your resume, I'll help you with your LinkedIn profile, I'll help you with maybe interview prep, things like that.
Yeah, there's some like
I think those
mentor,
are
like it's a
valid.
mentor. Yeah, if you're
Yeah, it's a
getting a mentor for
valid
something to help you with that,
service.
it's a totally
I
valid
don't know how
service.
much these cost. I've never really secret shopped them. So if you're out there and you're watching us, and I'm not talking about the valid ones that are doing a great job. It's just that if they're guaranteeing you a job, it's probably a scam. Can he
Right.
say that, hey, everyone that goes to my service um, is successful and that kind of thing? I think that's okay. But remember, coding jobs in general are ultimately skill based. If you can't pass a technical interview and you can't pass a coding challenge that you're going to get, you're probably not going to make it in the world. So like those are the kind of things that you need to know how to do in order to pass a technical interview. So make sure if you're paying for those services that's kind of what they're prepping you for, and you know what you're actually getting. If it's a guarantee for a job, it's probably scammy.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sure there's plenty. There are plenty of good ones. I mean, our friend Alex does this, right? He does mentoring on the side, so Tech Rally.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say, like, obviously he's in the good actor space, right? He's there helping people. Yes, he's getting paid to do it, but it's a service that it's going to be a good service. I can guarantee what he's going to tell you
and
is going to
like
be truthful.
Helping you rework your portfolio, helping you figure out what your LinkedIn should look like, helping you figure out what your resume could potentially look like. All of those are valid services, and so you should pay for those. But if you're paying to get a job, in other words, like you're paying money to get a job, that's a scam.
There's going to be somebody out there that offers a similar kind of thing that's going to say, they go take it that extra little bit further, that just says, I can guarantee this. Or maybe their service is just bad. Maybe they're not even a developer. Maybe they don't know what they're talking about, but you're paying for it anyway. Like, and it ends up being, a terrible, terrible service.
But here's the
kind of a scam too.
Here's the things that you need to have to get a job. Okay, if you want to know what you absolutely need to have to get a job, you need to have a skill that is in demand in the marketplace. And so obviously writing websites is an in-demand skill that you need to be able to do. Full stack, you need HTML, CSS, JavaScript, a SQL language, and some kind of server-side language like C#. That's what we teach here at the Coder Foundry Bootcamp. But going through the education is only like part of the battle. The second part of the battle is you need to have a resume, a portfolio, a LinkedIn profile that will allow someone to be enough interested in you to say, hey, you know what? I think I want to talk to that person. Then when you get there, you need to be able to pass a technical interview. And if you can pass a technical interview, you can get a job. In order to get an interview, I believe, and this is what Coder Foundry teaches, that you need a portfolio, LinkedIn site, and all these things in order to get someone to say, hey, I think that person can code. Let me talk to them.
It validates your skill set.
Yeah, validate your skill set, social proof of what you can do. Yep. And I think that is what people are looking for, and that's how you find a job. Now, what are the services that you need to pay for in those? Okay, you can pay a bootcamp like Coder Foundry, or go to the self-paced course, or go to Udemy. You're probably going to pay something on the education side. That could be a community college, could be a 4-year degree. And then in the middle, there's this soft skill thing that people underrate. And there are people coming up in our space that are saying, hey, you know what? After you've done the training part, maybe I can help you do these other soft skill things. Yep. Some are free, some are paid. But like, if you know what you're paying for, that's probably a valid skill, especially if you can find a really good person to say, hey, I'll reformat your resume for you. And, it's $500 or it's $5,000. Depends on how you value the service. But none of those services are going to say, hey, pay me $5,000 and you can work at Amazon. Yeah, I've got the inside track. I know a guy.
Exactly. I know a guy. If they give me anything, I know a guy.
Frank's going to hire you. He's just waiting for me to recommend whoever that is. And he guarantees that he'll hire whoever I recommend. I know a guy. Yep. So I think those are the scam things.
Yep.
All right.
Definitely. So here you go. So yes, just this one point. So Ridge Rating, yes, Tech Systems will rewrite your resume. So that's another reason to go with the recruiter.
They do it all the time.
Work you with that.
Yep. They want you to win. So that's the whole goal.
Yeah.
So sometimes
if you win, they win. That's how it works.
Exactly.
That's definitely how it works.
And I would say, having said that, we can name drop them. Tech Systems is a partner of ours, and so Tech Systems and works with their cohorts, and they work to find people jobs. So that's one of the partners we have, our hiring partner. And Tech Systems is 100% legit. So if you're sitting out there today and you're like, I've never heard of Tech Systems as a recruiter, they're one of the largest national technical recruiting firms in the world. They have someone in every state that you're in. Now, is every recruiter going to be nice and not ghost you? I don't know. But in general, you don't have to be fear if a Tech Systems person calls you that you're going to get scammed. They want to get your resume. You're going to have to pass an assessment with them. And then once you do all those things, they'll start presenting you for opportunities and hopefully land you a role. So I think they work really well.
Unless it's not a Tech Systems person and they're saying they are a Tech Systems person. So here's how you can tell that too. That Tech Systems person will never communicate with you electronically on a non-tech systems
Like
email
Gmail
domain,
account.
they
Like
will
your
never
Gmail account,
Gmail you. So
yeah,
that's another
yeah,
kind of flag to look out for in these things. If you're dealing with somebody at a company and they're not on a company domain for their email address, big red flag.
yeah. Yeah, so like especially the ones like Proton, the ones that are like supposed to be
The ones that are
anonymous,
like, exactly. An anonymous
yeah,
email one. I mean, don't even. How did it get through your spam filter? Like, that's the first question
right,
I'm
yeah,
asking. Like, why am I even reading this? Like,
yeah,
this is just a problem from the get go. Yeah, be very. I
right.
mean, just don't even start down that road.
So like, how do you vet out? What are our kind of keys on vetting out a job listing? What are the things that we could do there? We definitely could go and look to see if they have a website.
Yep.
And so, like, if you type in, let's say you type in, let's see, like, I don't know, like legit coders, like legit coders is hiring like 27 .NET positions, and our average salary is 150K. We have free food every day, a 401K, and we'll pay you in Bitcoin if you want. And so like it's this amazing thing you went over there, and then you type in that domain name, and you see like 8 websites come up. It's like all with different spellings of it, and things like that.
Right.
Like, legit coder LLC, legit coders, FR, like legit coders, ETH. And so like you have all these different websites, or they don't have a website, period.
Yep.
But when you look at those websites, they're obviously kind of like fake or something like that. They don't really,
Right.
they have like a homepage maybe, but then the rest of it's kind of janky.
I would also say the fact that the website exists too is only the first step. Don't let that be the only decision factor, because you all know we're literally in this space. Registering a domain and creating a website is very, very easy. If you're a scammer that's a good scammer, you're gonna set up a domain and a website. Like that's that's 101. That's like scammer 101. Like, at least if you're gonna be a good one. So don't let that be the only thing. So what's some other things we should look out for?
So you can see if they have a phone number that you can call and see if someone picks up the phone.
With the company name, exactly. If they answer the phone and be like, yo, like, that's a problem.
Yeah. Now, here's what I want to kind of dissuade you from doing. So you get an interview and you're going to go talk to someone. If your radar's up during that interview, don't make this mistake. Say, hey, man, are y'all a bunch of scammers? Is this thing real? Like, because like you could really kind of like, they could be real.
If they are real, you've now just offended them, and
you're not like you can't do it. Yeah. So let's talk about small company ads. So let's say that just because you don't know the name of the company doesn't mean that that's a scam either. So like we do work with some small companies that may have, like 8 to 10 people working there, and they've got like 3 developers. They're legit companies that so you need to also make sure, and you can do the same things. You can go to their website and see if they have a website. You can like look the people up that you're talking to see if their LinkedIn profile matches the website. So there's all of those things. If you can do that, you can pretty much determine if they're going to do it. Now, if you're working for a startup or you're working for a super small company and they don't pay you, I wouldn't put those in the scam category.
No, it's a different kind of scam.
Real.
The company's real, the job's real.
Yeah. Yeah, but like, they just don't have any money. And so like what I say, if you find yourself at a place and you miss your first paycheck, just leave.
Yeah.
You
literally get one chance to pay. If you get to the end of that first month and they say, we can't quite make payroll for whatever reason, or we need to do something else, or whatever it is, or we're going to get you next month, like, you're done. I mean, it sucks. You've wasted a month. I get it. But you're going to waste 2 months, trust me, because they're not paying you next month either. So you might just get out, cut your losses.
Scammy if it's right in the entry. Now, if you've been in a company for 10 years and something happens and like,
that's different.
I don't know, but that's totally different. But in general, I think that not getting paid is like a super red flag that you shouldn't stay there very long.
It's a different kind of scam. Likewise with being asked to do like a lot of work too, for like to get the job. That's another kind of different kind of scam too. It's not that the company's not real, it's not that the work's not real. But if they tell you to like, I need you to create this entire web portal in the next 2 weeks, and that's your interview, you're like, nah. That's working.
You're building software for them for free.
Yeah,
that's what I've seen that the interview process is like, I need you to build exactly this. Like, wow, okay,
right? Like,
that's scammy.
That seems a little sus.
Yeah, it's a little sus, as the kids say.
Yeah.
little suspect. All right, cool. Let's see what's got some comments here.
Yeah, here you
Anything
go.
you want to?
This is what Scott says too.
Yeah.
When remember we're interviewing the company as well. Do due diligence. I think it is about that due diligence too. Yeah. You can check with even with smaller companies. Don't forget, at least in the US anyway, they're all registered. You can check that a company is actually registered and they are a legit company. Because again, you can throw up a website really easily. You can't fake register the company.
Yeah, because that costs money to do.
It costs money,
so like,
exactly.
Typically, North Carolina, to get with the Secretary of State, you got to have 3, 4, maybe $500. I can't remember what it is to file your business license. And each state has different fees and things like that.
There's a bunch of different ways.
Now, what I would say is, what I was saying in the last comment, yes, we are interviewing the company as well, but I think here's what I want to caution people on. Once you start seeing scams and you think everything's a scam, you can really hurt yourself in the interview process.
True.
So we need to make sure that our due diligence is on what I would call on the download. Like, do this outside of any interview type scenario.
Yeah.
Like, you're not there
to grill them. Yeah, don't ever grill the company in an interview.
Because he has 8 employees that he's some kind of scammer, which I've seen something happening. Like, dude, whatever, dude. Like, you just get out of here, kid. Yeah. So like, I don't think that is what you need to do, but you can do your due diligence. Like we're saying, check the website, maybe check a business registration, all of those kind of things. Now, here's the reason why we think that you should work with recruiters. Because if you work with a recruiter, a legit recruiter, the one you're not paying, the one that's getting paid by the company, has already done that work for you. This is a real company. It's a real job. They're a small 10 to man 12 company. You'll really like it. Small company atmosphere, but it's a real company, a real job. They're paying fees for us. So we've already kind of done that due diligence, that vetting out. So you're less likely to get into like the mystery shopper scam, like, hey, go shop here and I'll pay you, stuff like that.
And you can be certain that they have vetted that company because, like you said, that company is paying the recruiter. Trust me, the recruiter is not going to do it unless they know for sure they're getting paid. That company signed a contract with them to say,
there's a contract, there's all these things.
You're doing this, you're going to pay us.
Yeah. And so like, that's kind of thing. So I think you can work for small companies. We're a small company. I mean, like, but like, that isn't the scam. It's the ones that you end up paying the company to work there is the one that you're doing. So that's what we're talking about.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Let's see. And I was just going to put that up now. Good point. I mean,
this is true.
Chances are they have a GeoCities at least, Clara. Come on.
GeoCities.
They have at least a GeoCities. Like, you dry cleaner down the road.
It could be a pure startup and things like that. I think most people have at least a landing page or something.
Yeah, they've mostly.
And so I would say in the startup realm, you have to do your due diligence if they're starting up, things like that. But if they're asking you to pay something, Clara, then that's a red flag. But maybe they're saying we don't have a website yet. That's why we bring someone in. But typically they'll have at least a landing page, a lander that they can go grab from ThemeForest or something, man. Like
they've normally something,
Squarespace or Wix or something, man. They've
at least owned the domain.
Yeah.
If they don't own the domain and the domain isn't registered, red flag. Abhishek wants to know, what about getting underpaid? I put that in the same realm as getting not paid,
to say, right? I think that's like underpaid means that, hey, I'm going to give you half your check and I'll catch you up next week.
Yeah.
There can be legitimate reasons a company would do this, but if it's in your first 2 weeks of employment, just expect that every 2 weeks. Like, why, if they're that hard up for cash, why are they hiring people anyway? So like most legitimate companies that are having problems with payroll are firing employees. They're definitely not in the hiring mode, so they're trying to let people go at that point in order to get things under control. So underpaid is better than not paid, but it's up to you.
Right.
If you're going to put up with that. I wouldn't do it for long. That's for sure.
Right. So. Exactly. Let's do our first question. How do you find a reliable recruiter?
So I think the national firms are great. So Tech Systems is who you can go right now and look up a Tech Systems recruiter in your area, and then that would be reliable. So that's one way you can do it. And then there's other, what I call regional people that are in the region around you that are also reputable, and you can go look them up their websites and you can see who those people are. But you can look them up on LinkedIn. You can just find all these people on LinkedIn.
Yeah, if you go,
So,
that's a maybe we should do that demo.
hey,
I
thanks,
like
Alberto. Thanks a lot, man.
good point, Alberto. Good point.
.NET
Yeah,
only, baby.
these non.net shops. What are they thinking?
Exactly.
What are they
React,
thinking?
get out of here, kid, you scammer. So,
Let's show you the how this works on here. So I can show you
yeah.
like real quick. You can do let me pull this up. If I do like if I'm in search here and I do I do that, recruiter tech systems, it's going to come up with people who are generally local to me, I think, too. So here we go, see all people. So you can see his is Taylor, technical recruiter tech systems in Greensboro. This is local to me. Raynell
Yeah, look
here,
at the
Kayla.
filters too. You can filter there, Kevin, as well.
I can filter by location too, can't I?
Location. Yeah, so you could put just Greensboro in there. You can say add a location, just type in Greensboro. There it is.
Where did that come up?
And then so you could do that. And then you can also do the company filter if you're looking for a specific company.
Oh yeah. So I can do like tech systems.
Bam. There you go.
Yeah, so there you go. So it gives you like that's the best way to find them if you know the kind of company names. Or even if you don't know the company names, you could just do recruiter, maybe technical recruiter, and then do the same kind of filters. So if we just do again, my Greensboro thing didn't work. Oh, because I didn't.
And take your company filter off, yeah.
There we go, and take my company filter off. There we go, and show results. Now I'm going to look for all the technical recruiters, and some of these are going to be at recruiters, some of these are going to be at companies too, don't forget. So there we go, there's one at Oregon look, a Lincoln Financial person, so you can connect with these guys if you're looking for a job at Lincoln Financial.
And those are internal to the company at that case, when you're looking at those.
Yep.
They're not recruiting firms, they're the recruiter that's internal to the company, so that kind of thing.
Which if you're targeting a certain company, you can that's a valid way to do it too.
Yep, exactly.
That's how I would suggest doing it. Okay. Let's see. Just go through the questions now. Abby wants to know C# good for back end job. Yes.
Opinion. I'm going to say my opinion, which is backed by demonstrable facts. Yes. but my opinion is I think is the best. I mean, like it's the best back end language right now forever. And it's been that way for a while, but with .NET 6, I think what you're going to see is when a multi-million-dollar or multi-billion-dollar company decides to be the best at something, they can be. And I think that Microsoft is investing in the .NET ecosystem, and C# being one of the benefactors of that, where it's going to be a fantastic backend language that's going to be used on everything worldwide, especially in web development. It's going to be high in demand. So I think it's a good choice. Java's a choice too. I just think that Microsoft is doing a much more in the innovation route with the language and the ecosystem than they're doing in the Java realm. So,
yep. That's an interesting question. This is going to vary, but curious of the bare minimum for entry-level .NET developers in the US. I'm safe with what I was offered, but curious how low it goes while being legit.
Here's my opinion, and this is we tell Coder Foundry grads that the bare minimum, I think, the absolute minimum wage is $20 an hour or $40K per year. That's the bare minimum. Other than that, if that's the only thing that you can get, at least you're getting paid.
Right.
But you should be looking hard after that.
You won't be there for long.
Yeah, you won't be there for long. What I think is for entry level .NET right now is safe, is somewhere in the, and I'm going to say for most of the places, except for maybe California, New York, and the high end markets, like the where the economics are just different, it's between 50 and 65. If you're in that range, you did pretty good, and that's I think
we've definitely seen above that in lower markets too. We've seen
higher too, 70s.
Exactly.
But like, I'm just giving you like a realistic expectation in every place but New York. But then even in New York, you'll see salaries like that too inside of New York, and it's just hard to make a living in New York.
Yeah, exactly. If they're offering you 60 in New York you shouldn't take it.
Well, it's hard. If it's the only thing you got, it's better than
well, if it's the only
nothing.
thing, yeah.
It's better than DoorDash, put it that way. But
is it though?
it's hard.
DoorDash might pay more. I don't know. I don't know.
But I think that's kind of what I think legit is. Anything above 40.
Yeah.
Except for maybe in San Francisco, it would be a little bit higher.
Yep.
So if that helps, Sean, good luck on the new job.
So he says, he actually says, here you go. So I remember he said he was 62. So yes, you're in exactly the right place.
You're right.
They pay you exactly the right amount.
Completely, you did really well. I think that's good. It's perfect.
Definitely. Well, this is definitely true. Yeah, I read that companies who pay low won't successfully retain engineers.
This is true. I mean, yeah,
it's true, but they also know this.
Yeah, so if turnover is part of their business plan, that's fine.
Yeah.
Most companies aren't like that. Most companies they're trying to bring payroll costs down. I get it. I coach companies all the time saying, I think this is the market rate. This is what you should be looking at. But sometimes we only can get a 40K offer out of them for students. And, it's just those students typically move on after 6 months.
Yeah, they're not that very long.
That's part of their business model. That's the way it is. It's not a scam, though. It's like you're getting paid.
It's not a scam. Yeah. And they understand that's just part of the business model.
That's part of the way it is. And then
we only want juniors
6 months
for 6
to 1
months.
year.
Yep.
Go look somewhere else and get a 40% raise or 50% raise. So all you're trying to do, and this goes back to Breaking the Code, Kevin, the book, is take the first offer.
Look.
First job. Yeah, shameless plug right there, Breaking the Code. The first job is for the experience, not for the pay. And the company isn't scamming. Maybe that's all they got. I mean, they're just trying to get their product out there, and that's all the money they have. And so you're in there for the experience, and maybe it pays off long term for you, and everything is sunshine and rainbows, and you stay there for 15 years. Or maybe it is something you use as a stepping stone transition to the next role where you can get paid better. But the first job's for the experience, not for the money. So
Chapter 8.
Take that offer. Yeah.
Take the first job.
That's it. Golden nuggets.
Links in the description below. Anybody who doesn't have the book.
Exactly.
You can go get it on Amazon. It's on sale. It's always on sale.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Amazon. That's how it works.
That's how it works.
It's like Kohl's. If you've ever been to Kohl's, everything in Kohl's is on sale. Always.
Yep.
It's never not on sale. Okay. Let's see. Got this real quick. Ridgeway, is there a way we can send recommendations to Code Foundry classes? You can send the link to somebody. We don't have an affiliate program right now. We're thinking about doing that at some point, but we do not have one right now where you can make money.
It's just not something that we can manage. There's more to managing an affiliate program than just creating it. It's just, we just don't have the bandwidth to manage it right now.
Yeah,
and so I don't want to have this fake affiliate program where you never get paid. So
that sucks.
So there's an accounting back end. There's a lot of things that we just don't. We haven't had the bandwidth to do that yet. We may get there one day, but I don't want to do anything haphazard that's not very good. I'm going to try to do the best I can at it.
Yeah. Right now, you can just send somebody the link because they need it. That's kind of all we have right now.
Exactly. If you want to send them the link, learn.coderfriend. Where's that shameless plug? You want to just send them there.
There we go. Just send them there.
Send that right there, and they can get both our offerings and learn how to code. So that's what you do.
Yep. Okay, let me see. Chris the Chemist says, is doing a big solo project still something that's recommended, even if it isn't exactly novel? I'm guessing or unique. Hard time determining worthwhile market project. I know it's off topic. We'll have to discuss later.
No, I don't. It doesn't have to be novel. It doesn't have to be novel. I think it needs to solve a business problem. What we recommend the big solo project for us is the bug tracker. I mean, it's not like no one's built a bug tracker before.
Right. You don't have to build something that's unique. You really don't. You just have to build something that's good, that solves a business problem.
I think people get confused on the purpose of the project a lot. So a lot of times I see this advice all the time coming from experienced developers, but I don't think they're out there looking for work using this. But this is what they're telling people. Yeah. Build your passion project, show it off, and then that's the only thing you should build. Don't build a boring business line app. We see this all the time. Don't build a bug tracker. Build your passion project. Here's what I say all the time, and go watch the video, the One Coding Project Get You a Job, is that what I'm saying in that video is like build a project that resonates with the hiring manager. Build something they can easily understand and recognize versus building Tinder for hikers. It's like what number one, you understand the person may not know what Tinder is. And they may not understand why would I swipe left and right, and then why would I do that for hikers? You know what I mean? Like, am I really
Right.
hiking with a random person? Well, maybe that's a thing for the Appalachian Trail crowd, okay? But if they're not hiking the Appalachian Trail, they don't understand that, and so it comes across. No matter what the code is, they look at it right away and go, "That's stupid. No one would ever do that," and they get hung up on the project
idea,
and not necessarily the code that you build. But if you build something like a bug tracker, they say, "Oh, I get that. I understand that. I understand the problem. How did you handle the ticket creation part?" So they can understand it right away, and then you can talk about the code and not necessarily the project. So your big solo project, I think, is a very good idea. I think that's what you should do. It doesn't have to be novel. In fact, if it's not, it's even better. I mean, like in my opinion,
right?
It's just your take on this, So I think it'll be marketable, and I think you can do it. Now, if you're trying to sell this as a service, well, that's a different problem. Our project for the bug tracker is to walk into an interview situation, use it as a sales artifact to get a job. And I think if you do those kind of things, you'll be all right. So I hope that helps.
Yep. Talk about this real quick then. So do you see junior devs growing with the company responsibilities in play, or should I expect you moving companies often to maximize my income potential? That's a great question.
Vary. It can vary.
It's often job hopping, though.
Yeah, job hopping how it is common. If it's every month, that's too much. If it's every 6 months to 1 year, I think it's good. But I think if you have a 15-year career and you moved every 12 months, that would be a red flag. So you got to have a couple of stops along the way to where you stayed there for a minute. Yep. But I do think that you can stay at one company and just stay there. I mean, I think if you like it, you like what you're doing, you like the people, and you're saying, yeah, I'm probably leaving a little bit on the table, but I like what I'm doing, I think that's fine too. So it's not always about like maximizing, like I'm gonna get every single nickel I can out of my career. It's more about like, do you like what you're doing? Do you have fun doing it? You like the technology, you like the people. Those are all like benefits too. So it's not all, but then there's some that are just clearly just I'm a complete gun for hire. Only work for the highest bidder. That's all I do. And that's okay too. I mean, that's okay too. Just have the skills to back that up. And I think there's a lot of people that build a career out for that way too.
Just about to make someone's day.
Yeah.
Sorry, just about to make someone's day. Yeah, they're both there. Go there right now. both the book
they're out there now.
Both the book tracker and Movie Pro are in the course.
Yeah, both are in the course. Released them earlier in the week, so go check them out, Kev.
We didn't do a good job of shouting out about that. Maybe I should put an announcement in the course. Actually, saying, hey, those are
Bug Tracker's available. Movie Pro's available. We'll put it out in Discord this morning. Then we'll just do that right now.
I can put out a course announcement actually that pushes that to everybody. So maybe I'll do that this afternoon.
Yeah. All right.
Not everyone comes here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, this is funny. Stay there for a minute. How long is a North Carolina minute?
Yeah, that's probably 6 months.
I would say like for your first thing, 6 months to a year is perfect, acceptable, especially if you're on the lower end of that pay scale. If you're in at 40, like you should be looking within months of being there, because that next one, as soon as you're a few months in, the next company's going to be way easier to get. Your next one's going to be way easier to get. You have experience at this point.
Yeah, I do think 1 year is kind of that magic number. 6 months can seem to some people a little quick. So if you're a really good interviewer, it's not. But like 1 year is that like magic number where people think, okay, he's been there for a minute. So maybe a year is a North Carolina minute. Maybe that's what we're saying.
I think that's
somewhere in that range. I think is okay. So it doesn't look like you got fired because you couldn't code. It looks like you left on your own volition. I think those are kind of valid.
Right, so, I think that's a valid point too. When somebody asks, like, "Why did you leave your last job?" You can be like, "Well, I left for more money."
Cash.
That's. I mean, that's a valid reason. Exactly. That's totally a valid reason. Like, I double my salary. Like
someone gave me more money.
that seems fair.
Yep.
So yeah. Let's see what else we got. I was just out for the big money. 2 mortgages, two upcoming college tuitions. Yeah, if you got
Sure.
kids in college, that's.
I get it, man. I understand that. I know that pain.
That's funny. Let's see. SB wants to know: do you guys offer help with job placement?
So what we do, SB, is the people that are coming through our in-person program, we do help. Just everybody on the planet. We don't do that right now, but maybe one day we will. But like we'd have to put some systems and things around that. The reason we do that is because we know what the portfolios are going to be. We know what they learned. We know how to pitch them because we've been in contact with them for 3 months. But for right now, it's like if you want us to help you find a job, we feel like go to the boot camp, build the portfolio, get the skills, and then we can hook you into our job placement network and help you out. But if you're outside of that, I mean, we can't do it. But follow our advice online and on YouTube that says here's the things that you need to build and here's what you do, and then find a recruiter and do those things. I think you'll be fine. There's no magic to this, really. I mean,
okay. I think it's Joanna. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Sorry if I'm not. But Joanna wants to know: do I have to be enrolled in your bootcamp to learn how to do the bug tracking project?
I mean, yes and no. If you want us to teach it to you, yes. Could you build a bug tracker with other means? Yes. Could you take the self-paced course at Learn.Foundry and not be enrolled in our bootcamp? Yeah, you can do that, and the bug tracker project's in there, and we'll show you how to build it. There's a lot of other things in there as well. So, again, I think that people think that when I say the one coding project gets you a job, that the bug tracker is like 5 magic beans or Jack and the Beanstalk. I don't think that's what it is. It is a type of project that you can build that resonates with an employer that can get you a job. And that's what we're doing. And we're just saying, if you can't think of one, Bug Tracker is a really great project because every single hiring manager has a bug tracker and they know what it is right off the bat, and they can look and see a good or a bad one right away. They also can spot a really bad one, and so we talk about that in the book, Breaking the Code. Is like, don't make a bad one, make a good one, so that's what we teach at the bootcamp. So yeah, we teach you how to build it, but you can do that in the self-paced options. It's very affordable, and if you can't be here full time. And then we also teach it in our 12-week in-person virtual. So we do it both ways.
So here's something, because on a serious note, if you guys review our portfolios or repos and put your down as a reference, I feel like that would be a strong reference. We've talked about something around this for a while now.
So here's how we would do it if we do it, Kev. We would create a service, and we don't want to be scammy. So like it's really hard for us to figure out how do we do this, but we'd have to get paid to do it. But our service would look something like you pay us, then we do a technical assessment, like an interview with you, a mock technical interview you, and then we look at maybe a coding challenge and this kind of stuff, and then we review your portfolio and then give you something like a Twitter blue check or something like that. I mean, that's something that we could do, but we're not quite there yet, and it's not anything it's like an idea at this point, but like I don't even know how.
We've definitely thought about this. Like, what if somebody completes the self-paced course, and you get a certificate, which we're working on some cool ideas for that too.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get that, but is that our seal of approval on your work? No, it's not.
So we would do more of a review, and then put you through a technical assessment with a human, like one of the instructors, and grade you on that, and then give you the Twitter blue check at that point.
Because if you come to the virtual boot camp where you're you're there all the time, you get one-on-one with the instructors and all that kind of stuff, you do get the equivalent of that. You do get our vouch for you when you pass the course.
Because we know you.
Because we know you. We know who you are. We know your work ethic. We've seen your work. We can actually vouch for you. With the self-paced course, we can't. You're just checking a box, right? It's like we don't really get to see your work. So we are thinking about a way to overcome that, kind of put that official blue check mark on you.
Yep.
So maybe here in the future.
If you guys keep asking for it, let me know. So
Laura knows what's up.
No comment. I cannot confirm or deny that I'm working on that. Yeah,
good idea, Clara. I like that one. I like how you think.
I like that. That's
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
yeah,
So,
that's pretty cool. That's funny. Okay, where are we? We're a little after one. Let's see what Sean's saying here. Do one last thing. I followed their advice. CF stacked it with a local bootcamp. I got 2 off. I don't know, for 2 weeks after completing my local bootcamp portfolio. My capstone project for the bootcamp were based on CF content. Cool.
nice. And Sean, full disclosure, Sean went to a different boot camp, and we're okay with that too. I mean, like,
totally.
our YouTube channel is to help you get it, and I think that's what's so hopefully obvious to you guys, that we want you to break in and learn how to code, and we celebrate Sean just as much as we celebrate other guys. Now, he did go through our self-paced course and built some stuff and used it to get a job, and we like that too. That's how we came in contact with him. But like in general, if you use someone else's stuff, that's okay. We're not here just saying Coder Foundry is the only way.
Yep.
We think it's good. We like what we do, but like, if you go somewhere else, you want to learn React from someone else, we get it. That's cool.
Yep.
So
definitely.
All right.
Cool. Let's wrap up. No, Chloe, you didn't spoil it.
No.
I wouldn't have shown it on screen if you're spoiling it. Like, not at all.
So,
let's go get tacos. It's that time.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll be back on Tuesday with something.
Good luck and keep coding, guys. See you on Tuesday.
We'll catch you guys later.